The massive Nexar warships descended through Earth's atmosphere like obsidian daggers, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly sheen that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The year was 2157, and humanity's worst fears had materialized in the form of the galaxy's most elite execution force. Commander James Wright stood at the window of the underground command center, his weathered face illuminated by the distant explosions that peppered the horizon. The last remnants of Earth's military forces had fallen 3 months ago, leaving only scattered pockets of resistance across the globe. But Wright knew something the Nexar didn't. Earth had one last card to play. "They're deploying ground forces, sir," Lieutenant Kuropatl reported, her fingers dancing across the holographic display. "Initial estimates suggest over 10,000 troops, all equipped with their latest combat suits." Wright nodded, his steel-gray eyes never leaving the burning skyline. "And our asset. The Whisper is in position, waiting for your command." The identity of the Whisper remained a closely guarded secret, known only to a handful of individuals within the Resistance. Some said it was the result of a classified military experiment. Others believed it to be something far more extraordinary. What mattered was that it represented humanity's last hope against an enemy that had conquered 17 worlds before reaching Earth. The Nexar ground forces moved with mechanical precision through the ruins of what was once New Shanghai. Their commander, High Executor Vex, led the advance from the front, his crystalline armor pulsing with energy. The Nexar had expected Earth to fall easily like the other worlds before it, but something was different here. Their initial invasion force had suffered unprecedented casualties, forcing them to deploy their elite executioners. "Scattered human life signs detected," one of Vex's officers reported. "But there's something else, sir. Our sensors are picking up anomalous energy readings." Vex's serpentine features twisted into what passed for a smile among his species. "The humans are known for their desperate last stands. Deploy the sweep teams. I want this sector cleared by nightfall." In the command center, Wright received the signal he had been waiting for. "It's time," he announced, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's future. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Let's show them why Earth was a mistake." The Whisper moved through the shadows of the ruined city like a ghost, neither fully visible nor completely absent. Years of research into quantum mechanics and consciousness transfer had created something unprecedented. A human mind freed from physical constraints, capable of existing in multiple states simultaneously. The first Nexar patrol disappeared without a sound, their advanced armor offering no protection against an enemy they couldn't comprehend. The second patrol met a similar fate, but not before broadcasting a few seconds of footage that would haunt the alien command for days to come. "What do you mean, they just vanished?" Vex demanded, reviewing the fragmented transmission. "Nothing just vanishes. Deploy the trace fields. I want every square meter of this sector monitored for quantum fluctuations." But the Nexar's technology, advanced as it was, had been designed to fight conventional enemies. The Whisper represented something entirely new, the next step in human evolution, born from desperation and scientific breakthrough. In the underground facility, Wright monitored the operation through a neural link. The Whisper had once been Dr. Isabella Hammond, one of Earth's leading quantum physicists. Her voluntary transformation into humanity's ultimate weapon had been controversial, but with extinction looming, ethical concerns had taken a backseat to survival. "Enemy forces are splitting up," Kira reported, tracking the Nexar movements. "They're trying to establish a containment grid." Wright allowed himself a grim smile. "Exactly as we predicted. The Whisper is drawing them into position." The Nexar's methodical advance suddenly halted as their communication channels erupted with distress signals. Entire squads began reporting impossible encounters, soldiers disappearing into thin air, weapons failing without explanation, and strange phenomena that defied their understanding of physics. Vex watched in growing concern as his force's formation began to break down. The humans had somehow weaponized the very fabric of reality, creating a defender that struck from everywhere and nowhere at once. In the shadows between moments, the Whisper continued its work. Each engagement was calculated, designed not just to eliminate enemy forces, but to instill a creeping fear in their ranks. The Nexar had come expecting to find a broken, desperate species. Instead, they found themselves facing something that challenged their very understanding of warfare. "Sir, we're losing cohesion," Vex's second-in-command reported, his voice tight with barely contained panic. "The men are reporting. They're reporting that death itself is hunting them." The High Executor's composure finally cracked as he watched another squad disappear from his tactical display. The humans hadn't just prepared defenses, they had created something new, something that turned their own advanced technology against them. Back in the command center, Wright received confirmation of the operation's success. Phase 1 was complete. The Nexar's elite force had been introduced to true fear. But this was just the beginning. The Whisper represented more than just a weapon. It was proof that humanity could evolve beyond its limitations, adapting and surviving against impossible odds. "Send word to the other resistance cells," Wright ordered, his voice firm with renewed purpose. "Operation Phantom Dawn is now active. It's time to show the Nexar that they didn't just invade Earth. They walked into humanity's ultimate response." As night fell over the ruins of New Shanghai, the Nexar forces retreated to their ships, their confidence shattered. They had come as executioners, but found themselves facing something beyond their comprehension. In the darkness below, the Whisper moved unseen, a guardian born from human ingenuity and determination, ready to defend Earth with abilities that bridged the gap between science and the supernatural. The war for Earth's survival had entered a new phase, and for the first time since the invasion began, humanity had hope. Not just hope for survival, but hope for victory against an enemy that had never known defeat. The Nexar would soon learn that underestimating human potential was the last mistake they would ever make. The Nexar High Command vessel hung in low Earth orbit like a dark star, its hull reflecting the fires that burned across the planet's surface. Inside, High Executor Vex faced the holographic council with barely contained rage. "The humans have created something unprecedented," he reported, his scaled fingers tightening around the command podium. "Our initial assessment was severely flawed. They're not just fighting back, they're hunting us." The council's primary avatar, a towering figure of light and crystal, leaned forward. "Explain how a species that couldn't defend their orbital platforms has suddenly become such a threat." Vex played the compiled footage from their ground forces encounters. The images showed glimpses of what they faced, reality itself seeming to bend, soldiers vanishing into thin air, and weapons turning to dust in their handlers' grasp. They'd weaponized quantum mechanics in a way we've never seen. Our troops are calling it the Whisper. In the underground resistance hub beneath the ruins of Berlin, Commander Wright coordinated with resistance cells worldwide. The Whisper's success had given them something precious: time. Time to implement the next phase of their desperate plan. "The Quantum Consciousness Program is ready for expansion," Dr. Reina Kapoor announced, her hologram flickering in the command center. As one of the few surviving scientists who had worked on Project Whisper, her insights were invaluable. "We can begin preparing more volunteers." Wright studied the data streaming across his neural interface. "The process nearly killed Isabella during the first attempt. Are you certain we can replicate it?" "We've refined the procedure," Reina assured him. "Isabella's sacrifice showed us the way. The human mind can exist in a quantum state, operating outside conventional physics. Each new Whisper will increase our chances exponentially." The Resistance's underground network had grown stronger since the Nexar's arrival. Humanity had learned to move like ghosts through their own cities, using the ruins as cover while gathering intelligence and preparing for coordinated strikes. The invaders' superior technology meant nothing if they couldn't find their targets. Above ground, the Nexar forces had adopted new tactics. They moved in larger groups, surrounded by fields of quantum sensors and reality anchors. But these precautions proved futile when the Whisper struck again. A major supply convoy moving through the remains of Moscow disappeared without a trace. Hours later, their quantum-encrypted communications network suffered unprecedented failures. The Whisper wasn't just attacking their forces, it was systematically dismantling their ability to wage war. "It's in the system," a Nexer technician screamed as their primary command network collapsed. "The quantum fluctuations are spreading through our secure channels." Vex watched in horror as the impossible became reality. The humans hadn't just created a weapon. They had evolved beyond the physical constraints that had made them vulnerable. The Whisper could exist anywhere information flowed, moving through networks as easily as through physical space. In the Resistance Command Center, Isabella's consciousness manifested as a shimmering pattern of light. "Their defenses are adapting," she reported, her voice carrying an ethereal quality that still unsettled those who heard it. "But they can't protect against something that exists in multiple states simultaneously." Wright nodded, reviewing the success of their recent operations. "How many of their systems have you compromised?" "All of them," Isabella replied with a hint of satisfaction. "They still think they're fighting a conventional war. They don't understand that the rules have changed." The Resistance's next move was already in motion. Across the globe, carefully selected volunteers began the transformation process. Each successful conversion added another quantum consciousness to their ranks, creating a network of defenders that could strike from within the fabric of reality itself. But the Nexer weren't defeated yet. Their response came in the form of overwhelming force. New ships arrived in orbit, carrying weapons designed to tear apart the quantum field itself. They were prepared to destroy the very laws of physics to maintain their dominion. "They're desperate," Kira observed, watching the new arrivals through their surviving surveillance systems. "They've never faced an enemy they couldn't simply overwhelm." Wright's expression remained grim. "Desperation makes them more dangerous. We need to accelerate our timetable." In the quantum realm, Isabella sensed the new threat. The Nexer's weapons could potentially disrupt the field that allowed the Whispers to exist, but they hadn't accounted for human adaptability. Each attempt to counter their abilities only provided more data, more opportunities to evolve. "They're planning something big," Isabella communicated to Wright. "They're new weapons. They're willing to risk destroying themselves to eliminate us." The Resistance faced a race against time. More volunteers underwent the transformation process, despite the risks. Each success strengthened their defense network, while each failure reminded them of the cost of their desperate strategy. Reyna worked tirelessly to improve the process, her team pushing the boundaries of science and human potential. "We're not just fighting for survival anymore," she told Wright during a rare quiet moment. "We're becoming something new, something they never expected." In orbit, Vex prepared to deploy the quantum disruptors, knowing they would affect his own forces as well. The Council had been clear: Earth must be subjugated, no matter the cost. But as he gave the order, a chilling thought occurred to him. What if the humans' evolution wasn't just a desperate last stand? What if this had been their potential all along? As the massive weapons powered up, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The war for Earth had reached a critical point, and neither side could predict the outcome. The Whispers moved through the quantum field, preparing for a battle that would decide not just humanity's fate, but the very nature of existence itself. In the command center, Wright received reports from resistance cells worldwide. They were ready. Whatever the Nexer planned, humanity would face it together, armed with their greatest weapons: intelligence, adaptability, and the unshakable will to survive. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and the universe would never be the same. The quantum disruptors fired from orbit, their energy cascading through reality like shattered glass. The sky itself seemed to fracture, creating auroras of impossible colors as the Nexer attempted to unravel the very fabric that allowed the Whispers to exist. Deep within the quantum field, Isabella felt the disruption ripple through her consciousness. "They're trying to collapse the field," she communicated to Wright. "But they don't understand. We're not just existing within it anymore. We've become part of it." The resistance bunker shook as reality distorted around them. Through their monitors, they watched as entire sections of cities phased in and out of existence, caught in the quantum wake of the Nexer's desperate attack. "Status report on our whispers," Wright demanded, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around them. Raina's fingers flew across her console, monitoring the network of quantum consciousness. "They're holding." In fact, she paused, eyes widening at the data. "They're getting stronger. The disruption is forcing them to adapt faster than we anticipated." The Nexer's attack had inadvertently accelerated human evolution. Each attempt to destroy the Whispers pushed them to evolve, to find new ways of existing within the quantum field. What had started as a defensive measure was becoming something far more profound. High Executor Vex watched in mounting horror as his sensors detected the impossible. The human quantum signatures weren't disappearing. They were multiplying, spreading through the disruption like a virus through a network. "Cease fire," he ordered, but it was too late. The quantum disruptors had created tiers in reality that the Whispers now used as pathways, extending their reach beyond anything previously thought possible. In the quantum realm, Isabella led the network of consciousness that had once been human volunteers. They moved through the tiers in reality, their combined awareness expanding exponentially. "We understand now," she communicated to Wright. "This was never about fighting them. It's about transcending what we thought was possible." The Nexer's mighty ships began experiencing catastrophic failures as the Whispers invaded their systems at the quantum level. Reality itself seemed to turn against the invaders, their advanced technology becoming useless against an enemy that had evolved beyond conventional physics. "Sir," Kira called out, her voice filled with awe, "you need to see this." The main screen showed the quantum field visualization, a network of light and energy that now pulsed with human consciousness, growing stronger with each passing moment. Wright watched as humanity's defenders evolved before his eyes. The Whispers were no longer just weapons or tools. They had become something entirely new, a bridge between what humanity was and what it could become. But the Nexar had one final card to play. From their flagship, Vex activated their Doomsday Protocol, a weapon designed to collapse local spacetime itself. If they couldn't conquer Earth, they would erase it from existence. "Multiple gravitational anomalies detected," Raina reported, her face pale. "They're trying to create a cascading series of temporal collapses." In orbit, space began to fold in on itself as the Nexar weapon took effect. The sky darkened as light itself was drawn into the growing distortions. Earth's last hours seemed to be at hand. But in the quantum realm, Isabella and the other Whispers had anticipated this. Their consciousness, now existing partially outside normal spacetime, could see the patterns of reality itself. They understood not just how to fight the collapse, but how to redirect it. "Commander," Isabella's voice resonated through the command center, stronger than ever before. "We need every remaining volunteer. What we're about to attempt, it will change everything." Wright looked at the faces around him, scientists, soldiers, and civilians who had already sacrificed so much. They all nodded, understanding what was being asked of them. "Do it," he ordered. The remaining volunteers entered the quantum transformation chambers as the sky continued to darken above. This time, the process was different. The Whispers had learned to guide the transformation, to help others cross the threshold between physical and quantum existence. As reality buckled under the Nexar attack, humanity began its final transformation. The Whispers merged their consciousness with the new volunteers, creating a vast network of quantum awareness that spread through the tiers in space-time. Vex watched in disbelief as his sensors detected the change. The humans weren't just surviving the reality collapse. They were using it, riding the waves of distortion like surfers on a cosmic ocean. "What are you?" he transmitted desperately as his flagship systems began to fail. The response came not in words but in understanding. The humans had become something that existed between the moments, in the spaces where reality itself took form. They had evolved beyond the need for physical form, beyond the limitations that had made them vulnerable. In the command center, Wright felt the change ripple through the air as the quantum field stabilized. The Nexer weapon had failed, its energy redirected and absorbed by the expanded network of human consciousness. The war for Earth had reached its turning point, but it wasn't through conventional victory. Humanity had found a way to transcend the very boundaries of existence, becoming something that the Nexer, with all their advanced technology, couldn't comprehend. As the dust settled and the sky began to clear, Wright realized that they had achieved more than just survival. They had opened a door to humanity's next great evolution, a transformation that would reshape not just Earth, but the very nature of human existence. The Nexer fleet hung motionless in orbit, their weapons silent, their confidence shattered. They had come to execute a species, only to witness its transcendence. The real question now wasn't whether humanity would survive, but what they would become. The Nexer Empire had never known defeat in their 1,000-year conquest of the galaxy. Yet here they floated, their mighty fleet paralyzed above a planet they had grossly underestimated. In their command chambers, panic began to spread as they realized the true scope of humanity's transformation. "The quantum field is saturated with human consciousness," reported the Nexer's chief scientist, his scales pale with fear. "They're not just in our systems anymore. They're in the space between systems." Vex stood silently, watching Earth through the flagship's quantum-shielded viewport. The planet below had changed, its atmosphere now shimming with patterns of energy visible even to the naked eye. Humanity's evolution had left its mark on their very world. In the quantum realm, the network of human consciousness that had once been individuals like Isabella continued to expand. They existed in a state of perpetual quantum superposition, able to observe and influence reality at its most fundamental level. "The remaining human populations are ready," Isabella communicated to Wright. "The transformation can be offered to anyone who chooses it." Wright, still anchored in physical form, coordinated the global response from the underground command center. The survivors of Earth's population now had a choice: remain human in traditional form or join the quantum consciousness that their species had evolved into. Reyna, working with her team of scientists, had refined the transformation process to be nearly perfect. "It's not just about survival anymore," she explained to the gathered resistance leaders. "We're witnessing the birth of a new form of existence." The Nexer watched in growing horror as more humans chose to transcend their physical forms. Each transformation strengthened the quantum network, creating a defensive grid that made Earth increasingly impregnable. But not all humans chose to transform. Many, like Wright, understood the necessity of maintaining a bridge between the physical and quantum realms. They would be the guardians of humanity's legacy, ensuring their species never forgot its origins. As the fourth week of the standoff began, the Nexer Council finally acknowledged the impossible. They had lost Earth. But in their defeat, they had witnessed something unprecedented: the forced evolution of an entire species. The war entered its final phase not with violence, but with understanding. Humanity had become something the galaxy had never seen before, a species that existed simultaneously in physical and quantum states, able to shape reality itself. The stage was set for the final confrontation, not just for Earth's survival, but for the future of all sentient life in the galaxy. The final confrontation came not with the thunder of weapons, but with the subtle shift of reality itself. Earth's quantum field, now alive with human consciousness, reached out beyond the planet's atmosphere. "They need to understand." Isabella's consciousness resonated through the quantum network. "We can show them what we've become." The Nexer fleet, still maintaining their blockade of Earth, detected the approach of the quantum wave. But this time, it didn't come to destroy, it came to communicate. Wright, watching from the command center, witnessed the moment of contact. The quantum consciousness of humanity touched the minds of the Nexer, sharing not just information, but understanding. In an instant, the Nexer experienced what humanity had become. They saw the quantum realm through human eyes, felt the infinite possibilities that existed in the space between moments. They understood, Finally, that they had not found a victim species, but had instead catalyzed the emergence of something revolutionary. Vex, connected to the quantum network through the ship's systems, fell to his knees. "We never knew," he whispered. "We never understood what was possible." The transformation of humanity had implications far beyond Earth. The ability to exist in quantum superposition, to transcend the limitations of physical form while maintaining connection to it, represented a new path of evolution for all sentient life. In the quantum realm, Isabella and the network of consciousness made an offer to the Nexer, not surrender, but collaboration. Humanity would share their understanding of quantum existence, showing other species the path to transcendence. "The war is over," Wright announced to the remaining human populations on Earth, "but our journey is just beginning." The Nexer fleet withdrew, not in defeat, but in acknowledgement of a new era. They would return not as conquerors, but as students, eager to learn from the species they had tried to destroy. Earth began its recovery, its cities rebuilt by the combined efforts of physical and quantum humanity. The scars of war remained, but they served as reminders of the price of evolution, the cost of becoming something more. In the years that followed, Earth became a beacon for species across the galaxy. The planet where humanity had made its ultimate response to extinction by transcending existence itself became a symbol of transformation and hope. Isabella, her consciousness now spread through the quantum field, continued to guide both humans and aliens who sought to understand the new frontier of existence. The whispers, once weapons of last resort, became teachers of a new way of being. Wright remained in his physical form, leading the effort to maintain balance between the quantum and physical aspects of human civilization. "We didn't just survive," he would often say. "We became what we were always meant to be." The story of humanity's transformation became legend throughout the galaxy. The species that had faced extinction had instead achieved transcendence, proving that the greatest power in the universe was not the ability to destroy, but the capacity to evolve. Earth's skies, once dark with invasion ships, now shimmered with the constant dance of quantum energy, a testament to the day when humanity made its ultimate response and changed the course of galactic history forever. The end was really just the beginning, the dawn of a new age where the boundaries between thought and reality, between consciousness and existence, had been forever transformed by humanity's indomitable will to survive and evolve. In the quantum realm, Isabella's consciousness resonated with a final truth. They had not just saved humanity. They had opened the door to the next stage of cosmic evolution. The universe would never be the same, and that was exactly as it should be.